Happy Thursday night, everyone. Welcome to our weekly By Aussie Now Instagram Live. It's, of course, one of our favourite times of the week, and we look forward to an exciting future. Now, look at this above comments. So this is a wonderful friend of mine, Felicity Harley, who many people will know. Probably if you watch Sunrise, you would know her. But she's a wonderful writer. She's now an author. She's also a crazy mother who's got children running around everywhere. And we have to balance all of that work and family life. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and congratulations.
It's a very exciting day.
Oh, I should have come with a champagne. I'm sorry. Oh.
Firstly, how are you coping with being stuck? Well, you're not as bad in Sydney as we are here. But how did you cope, I guess, with the changing nature of, the world? With someone who's such an active person, have got a million things going on. How have you sort of had to adjust with that change to life?
Yeah, thanks. Well, we're not there yet. I feel like we're not far behind because I know you just, I go on Sunrise every week, and I literally lasted 2 weeks, and then now all of a sudden I'm not on there anymore. So, look, I think like everyone, you just kind of stop and reassess. And I mean, in terms of media world, it's kind of been a bit diabolical for us in, as my work, as the women that I worked across the website was axed, and, and then obviously home life with 3 kids at homeschool. They're due back at school in New South Wales on Tuesday. So fingers crossed. But I mean, obviously my other half runs the Sydney Swans, so our house is just in another realm at the moment. I'm not sure if I'll be packing up soon and going to Brisbane too with
like get out quickly before everyone else does. Well, sort of, I think Melburnians and Victorians kind of gradually moved up to Byron Bay, sort of worked their way up before the restrictions happened. So it's a very tough time. And I read your book 2 nights ago, and I have to confess I finished it this afternoon. When you look at it, and I guess what your background is in terms of women's health, and you run a women's network on News Corp, and so I assumed it would be very female skewed, but I felt that there was a great deal of human quality in it in terms of advice on how humans can react to certain situations. So what I kind of want to get my head around is how, for many people of our small business operators who are trying at the moment to simply stay afloat, to have income in the door and try to survive. Obviously, you're in a position where most people, as you rightly point out, would think, oh, Felicity Harley has it all. But the reality is it doesn't really matter where you are or what sort of financial position you are, what location. You're battling with a whole lot of different emotions. What made you, I guess, talk about these publicly? Because people tend to not really talk about that sort of stuff much, especially when you talk about your family as well.
Yeah. Well, okay, I've got 2 responses to that question. I mean, first, the book came about because I've worked in women's publishing for 20 years, ran Women's Health launched and ran that for 9 years. And, so I'm so surrounded by women, and I feel like that period, I mean, I know what makes women tick. I know what women are angsty about. I know what's driving it. So I know how we're feeling collectively. And I felt that our overwhelm and our mental loads was just increasing over the years. I was having more and more conversations with friends and workmates, and stories that we were writing were just doing so well about stress and overwhelm and mental load and all that. So that's kind of where the book came from, because I thought, right, that this is like, we're fed up, we're angry, what feminism promised us, is this all it's cracked up to be? I mean, I was almost exasperated. And so there's also a big layer of wellness in the book, because I question whether, I saw the wellness start, the whole wellness thing start, and then I saw it rise, and I just question whether this is in fact adding to, men and women's overwhelm. That's where it came from. And So I look at overwhelm, and I think, one thing, especially whether you're a mom, whether you're a dad, whether you're a small business owner, whoever you are, we're all overwhelmed. We all experience overwhelm, and overwhelm just looks different for many of us. So it's not just my voice; it's my story and my voice, but it's
Of
also
course.
I interview many experts. I
Yes.
interview
Tell us who they are. Some of the big names.
I interviewed people like doctors, so
Yes.
Dr. Ginny Hansberg, Dr. Libby
Yep.
Weaver, who are really in this space. And then
Yep.
I interviewed a fascinating sociologist who now is my new best friend from
Yes.
Melbourne Uni. And I
Yeah.
interviewed the head of gender studies at University of Sydney. So I just stretched far and wide, and I just wanted to pick people's brains about why are we feeling so overwhelmed. And then I interviewed a number of celebrities. So Megan Gale, Kelly Cartwright, Fifi Box, Sharia Pitt, women that have always inspired me about how they achieve great things, and women that I've also worked with for many years and know that they get overwhelmed too. So I just, wanted different voices in there about how this is the overwhelm. So the book's kind of two parts. This is the overwhelm. How do we deal with it?
I mean, everyone takes risks in various situations. I mean, I took a risk in doing this. I didn't have my work kind of dried up, and I went, we've got to do something else. What made you take the risk from, okay, I'm going to put, I guess, in effect, put my reputation on the line and do something I haven't done, to then sort of pivot quickly and have a crack at it?
Well, I'm all about, pushing boundaries and taking risks and doing things that I've never done before, whether they turn out or not. And I kind of love that fear. And you're probably experiencing that as well. And small business owners, where you just think like, it's just that pull that you need to do something.
That's right. Yeah.
And you just think, okay, I've just got to give this a go. Like if I don't do it, and I'm all about, not living a life where I'm going to, we'd all have regrets, but I just want to give it a go. So I thought, I'm just going to give it a go. And you're right, Corona. I actually wrote this book in 3 months. Between the hours of about 8 p.m. and midnight. But yeah, like anyone, coronavirus hit, and this book was due out on the 28th of April, and I had this amazing grand plan of doing this, lovely tour of Australia, book tour, and that all went to shit.
Yeah, totally. Most things have gone to shit recently, don't worry. Yeah.
So I just have to keep on and do the best I can and work out new ways to sell this book, to promote it, get people involved. So I've started, like you, an Instagram live series, which has been great. And I've
been watching. Yeah.
Thank you. And look for other ways I can sell the book and sell things inside the book that might be really applicable to people's mindset at the moment. Obviously.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, that was what resonated with me. It was almost like you'd anticipated thought you're very clever, but I'm not sure you're that clever, Felicity. But you did an extraordinary job of kind of just the relevance of it. And I think, that's in a certain way what Buy Aussie now is. It's relevant now to what people are kind of needing, and what you've done is exactly the same thing. My question to you is, now that you've done this, and it's really kind of it's a thing you want to, or I guess for many people, carry with you all the time when we're going through these different emotions, is, have you thought about using this now in a different sphere of doing other things in your life?
Yeah, well, media has obviously shrunk. So I've had to also, regroup and think. I'm still working across News Corp writing for a few titles, but, the work has dried up, I won't lie. So, yeah, I've had to, I'm actually going through what I call a recalibration at the moment for the next year. And I'm thinking, okay, so what are my skills that I've had? And what are the skills that I've got out of my, career as a journalist, and what's my interests, and how can I turn them around? So I've enrolled in, I'm studying postgrad in public health because that really interests me.
Wow, good for you.
So I'm just going to do that part-time. Yeah, because I have to.
Because you've got nothing else on, Dove. Have you read your book?
I like to be overwhelmed, obviously. But here are the tricks how not to be overwhelmed, right?
Yes. No, I thought it was, you know, and we've already seen a lot of people coming up saying, I bought it, my friends could use this book. So I think it's totally relevant. And, you know, I think one of the things about books, and I mean, I guess you and I are quite simple, we read a lot of books. It's kind of inherently in our nature to do that. But for a lot of people, it can kind of be quite, have I got time to actually sit and read a book? You know, like it's sort of one of those things that's almost kind of conflicts with what you're saying. You're so overwhelmed in trying to find time to do anything. But this is the sort of book people should be reading now, because it's giving them the balance around how to try to deal with real life situations. If there's one takeout for this, for people who are struggling, not just necessarily emotionally or not struggling with anything in particular, but are feeling overwhelmed in what they're doing. And I know we see messages every day on our Instagram page of people that are needing a platform to assist them, whether it's Buy Aussie Now, whatever it is, there's something that they're crying out for. What would your advice be to them to kind of keep going and seeking the right path for them?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it, when you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like nothing's going your way, and where am I going to turn, and what am I going to do? I mean, I think for me, it's just being really clear. So I talk a lot about mental clarity in this book, and actually stepping away, because often when you're in the overwhelm, when you've got all, you know, everything, you're stressed about where you're going to go next, you can't actually really see clearly. And I think it's so important just to stop and walk away. Now that can be, you know, if you're into meditating, or if you're just into sitting, or if you're into going for a walk, or just if you take it's just basically a chop out. And I think if you can just get away from it and it will just give you a clear mental space, that really helps kind of find that inspiration as to why you're doing it in the first place. I just think there's so much in just sitting and checking in with how you're feeling, and how your body's feeling, and where you're at, and then just coming back and giving it a go. But I think in terms of promoting businesses, it's really hard at the moment. But if you just keep focused on, you know, that goal, or that niggle you had in here, think you can achieve it.
I think it's more about people's journey, and I think that's, to me, is what the most important thing is. It doesn't matter what gender you are, you learn from various people and situations. So congratulations. You should be very proud.
And you know, congratulations to you. How amazing. Well done. I love seeing your little thing grow and grow, and, you know, watch out, Amazon. I love it. It's great.
Well, we sort of said that. We said, well, we've tried to say, well, look, basically it is a kind of Aussie Amazon and, you know, eBay, but at least the money's staying here. That's the big difference. So hopefully it takes off, and hopefully we sell lots of these tonight for you. So thank you for coming on board. Are you
excited? Are you excited?
I'm a little bit overwhelmed. But no, I think, I think to your point, I've been very focused. I haven't been drinking, so literally last week I had my first Ponting wine, but I have decided that every Thursday night will now be a glass of red wine. I've gone walking. You talked about going outside and looking up, so every day I'm walking a minimum of 8 to 9 Ks, even if it means me getting up, even if it gets me getting up at 5:30 or 6. So so I've lost a lot of weight, but not in a, like, just, you know, just, I guess, eating better and stuff. But I don't think I could have got through this if I hadn't sort of set myself a focus, you know, and my focus was, okay, I need to have a clear mind, and I need to feel fighting fit, for a better word. And that for me was the way to do that. And so, but yes, I'm still overwhelmed, but I'm probably less overwhelmed because my mind's in a better place than it was a couple of months ago. So, you know, that's a good, and it's ironic too, because I've probably never been so cash poor in my life, but the reality, it's kind of weird, because it just sort of then shows about, to your point, about what's actually important and focusing on the things that are important, and that kind of really resonated with me. So there you go. So congratulations. It's so good.
Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you. And we'll chat soon. All right, everyone. Thank you again. Thank you for your support this week. Look forward to seeing you next week. All right. Good night, everyone.